Dear learners, greetings and welcome back to our foundation course in food production. Today we will be talking about equipment, majorly classification of. The objective for today's session is to understand what are the various bases for classification of equipment and what are the different types of equipment that comes under different categories of this classification. So first let's understand kitchen equipment. We have to keep in mind that kitchen equipment is one of the expensive item that is available in the kitchen, and it is the main basis for the entire operation of the kitchen. So while planning for a kitchen, specifically a commercial kitchen, one should keep in mind the type of equipment that is required. Okay? And when the type of equipment is determined, it is determined on the basis of what type of cooking will take place, like depending on the menu which will be served, what will be the various methods of cooking, and for each method of cooking what type of equipment will be required. Along with this major factor for considering the equipment, other things like durability of the equipment, user friendliness of the equipment, and ease of maintenance of the equipment should also be kept in mind, because it is a very important role of the kitchen staff to maintain the equipment by cleaning them, along with that keeping in mind the routine schedule for servicing and repair of equipment when required. Okay? So these factors are very important for kitchen equipment, their use, their maintenance by the staff. Okay? Further, to understand various types of kitchen equipment, it is important for one as a beginner chef to understand classification of equipment, how equipments are classified under different categories. Okay? So first we need to understand what are the various bases on which one can classify equipment. So these bases are size of equipment, then another basis is mode of operation, and third basis is purpose of equipment. Okay? So these are the three bases on which we can classify equipment. These are size, mode of operation, and purpose. So let's start with size as a basis for classification of equipment. On the basis of size, equipments can be classified into three major categories. These categories are small, medium, and large. Talking about small equipments, these are handheld equipments which can be easily operated or taken away from one spot to another spot or one section to the another section of the kitchen. Okay? Like pots and pans. Okay? For example, we have stock pots which are of the capacity of 10 to 20 liters for preparing stocks, gravies inside the kitchen. Then we have sauce pots. These are smaller pots or pans which are used for preparation or holding of the sauce inside the kitchen, varying from a capacity of 5, 10, 20 liters. Okay. Then we have saute pans which are used for sauteing or stir frying. Okay. So these are the equipments which are taken from one place to another place in the kitchen, like from the pot wash to the gas range, and gas range to back to the pot wash, and then stored on the racks. Talking about the medium equipments. Medium equipments are those equipments which have a certain fixed location of the use in the kitchen, but in case of requirement they can be moved easily from one place to another place. Major of these equipments are tabletop equipments which can be used on a table. Okay. These equipments are like microwave oven, then we have mixer grinders or food processors, okay, tabletop salamanders, tabletop deep fat fryers. Okay. Further, large equipments, when we talk about large equipments, these are equipments which have a specifically fixed position in the kitchen and they are not moved from their place to another place for the purpose of use. They are only moved from their fixed location for the purpose of cleaning and maintenance. Okay. These equipments are like gas ranges, deck ovens, tilting pans, or commercial steamers. Okay. These come under the large equipments. Further, you will see refrigerators, double door, four door, or even walk-in refrigerators. These come under the large equipments of the kitchen. So after having discussed the size as the basis of classification and three categories that come under size like small, medium and large, let's move on to the next basis of classification of equipment, that is mode of operation. Okay. When we talk about mode of operation, again we have three subcategories under this basis of classification. These are manual, mechanical and electrical. Okay. As the name suggests, mode of operation, how the equipment is operated. So manual equipments are those equipment which are operated by hand, like we have knife, whiskers, graters, peelers, honing rods or whetstones. These are manual equipments which are used inside the kitchen. Another subcategory in mode of operation is mechanical equipment. As the name suggests, these equipments have some mechanically operated part which rotates or moves for processing of food. Okay. Some examples are like rolling pin. Nowadays we have rolling pins containing ball bearings so that they can work faster with less force. Then we have mechanical blenders which are used for blending, and food processors which are used for slicing, okay, maybe pureeing or chopping of food. Okay. They have moving blades or moving parts which helps in processing of food. Okay. So the mechanical equipment will be equipment that has a certain mechanical part in it. The third category inside the mode of operation is electrical equipment. Electrical equipments are those which require electricity for working. Electrical operation is there inside these equipments. Some examples are oven, refrigerators, salamanders or electric weighing scales. Okay. So these are electrical equipments. So we have discussed the classification of equipment on the basis of size, on the basis of mode of operation. Let's talk about the third basis for classification of equipment, which is purpose. What is the purpose of equipment? Okay. On this basis also we have three subcategories of equipments. These categories are holding equipment, processing equipment and measuring equipment. Holding equipments are those equipments which are used for holding the food. This can be raw, processed or cooked food. Examples of holding equipments are steel bowls, maybe glass bowls, GI pans, also called the food pans. Then we have refrigerators used for holding raw material, at times cooked food also, and kitchen racks which are used for holding dry ingredients. Okay. And when these racks are used inside a walk-in refrigerator, they can also be used for storing or holding cooked food. Okay. Moving on from holding to processing equipments, these are the equipments which are used to process raw material into the cooked food, further raw material into the processed food that can be used for cooking a dish. So these equipments include blenders, grinders, planetary mixers, pulverizers, which are used to process raw material to the next stage, which can be a cooked food or which can further be used to cook the food. The third and last category under the basis of purpose is measuring equipment. Measuring equipments are those which are used to measure the quantity, volume or temperature of various food items. Okay. So these equipments can be weighing scales. Weighing scales are used to measure the weight of the food item, which is in grams or kilograms. Then we have thermometers. Thermometers are used to measure the temperature of the cooked food to see if the inner temperature of the food has reached the desired temperature. Then we have measuring spoons, measuring cups and measuring jars, which are used to measure volume of the food, like in liters or mLs. So this was about the classification of kitchen equipments. Let's summarize what we have discussed today. We have discussed how important are kitchen equipments to a kitchen as they are expensive. Okay. How we can maintain kitchen equipment by keeping in mind its use, its durability and its maintenance schedule along with the repair when required. We talked about three bases for classification of kitchen equipments, which is size, mode of operation and purpose. We also discussed what will be the different equipments that will come under various categories on the basis of size, on the basis of mode of operation and on the basis of purpose of the equipment. But however, one should keep in mind that a same equipment at the same time can come in different categories. For example, when we are talking about a tabletop grinder which is electrically operated, this tabletop grinder will come in category of medium equipment, mechanical equipment and at the same time it will be electrical equipment. And when we talk about from the point of view of purpose, it will come under a processing equipment. So same equipment can come under different categories. Okay. So this was the lecture about classification of equipments. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. See you in next class.